Hi everybody, welcome to another Arkham Horror the card game list video. Today we're going to be talking each about, this is a multiple titles. 5 cards that missed the mark, 5 missed opportunity cards, or 5 cards that just are not worth playing. So it's like a multiple things to kind of sum up. Just cards that we think just aren't quite there, or just not worth it for a multitude of reasons.
Oh man, you meant I was supposed to pick bad cards, not just pick cards that I wouldn't play in Mark Harrigan.
Yeah, well, nothing missing Mark. And he gets hit when he wants to get hit, which is when he's not angering Sophie. We each have our own list. It's not a group list this time, so let's start with our number 5s. I accidentally double-clicked, but that's okay. We're here anyway. Bryn, why don't you go first? What's your number 5?
So we got Unearth the Ancients. This card is basically Perception, because, like, you have to pick. There's so many hoops to jump through. Like I've got to pass a book test that is equal to the value that I want to gain. It has to be for a yellow asset. Sure, if it's got the relic trait, I draw a card. But like, there's so many things that I think are wrong with this card. Like, why isn't it fast? Why didn't it cost a 0? I don't know. Like, it just doesn't do enough. Like, if I want to use this to put like a Dr. Milan or any sort of, because the asset kind of has to be worth, like 3 or 4 in order to be worth playing this on.
Yeah, and then
otherwise
you have a
I
hard
should just
test.
be playing emergency cash. Yeah, and then the test is hard, and if I fail, like, well, fuck me, right? Like,
Yeah.
I just spent a resource, a card, and an action, and I got nothing.
Yeah, Azathoth just slapped you. That's what happened.
Yeah, right. Like, it's just there's a lot of little things about this that could be better. Like, why do I have to pick a yellow asset? What if I could pick any asset?
Yeah.
At
Or even
least.
just any relic asset. Like,
Yeah.
even then.
Yeah.
And then it just replaces itself at the end. Let's go. My number 5 is a card I've talked about before, Decorated Skull. I just love the idea of a skull that sits in play and amasses resources. I know that the upgraded version is better, but then you're paying 6 experience for something that's just still not quite good enough to warrant it. I love the idea that something that cares about if your allies or, God forbid, Travis or, no, let's be real, Bryn dies and we're at the same location and I get a resource on my skull, I'll know that Bryn's soul is always with me. Like, I think there's just a lot of fun here, and it's just no matter what, it's just too slow, and I just wish the skull, it was just a little bit more. It was just a little bit more.
The upgrade version fixes some of those problems, but I agree it could be like 1 experience less or whatever.
Yeah, it's a lot of experience. Like, the action ability now on the upgraded skull is good, but that's just a lot of experience for like so many other ways to get resources. I think if we have
it was a lightning bolt to activate it, but it exhausted.
Yeah.
And you had to pick, like,
Yeah.
I think if we ever get like an investigator that cares about killing people, like killing his allies or her allies, then maybe we can look back at this again. But right now, it's just too much for too little. Travis, what's your number 5?
This one's like kind of 2. It's lure and ambush because my complaints about them are very similar. In that there's supposed to be like traps that you lay down for enemies, despite neither of them having the trap subtype. But whatever. And they're just like so awkward and hard to make work. Like, they don't feel like traps. It feels like you put them down, you're just like, it doesn't feel like you're constructing an elaborate trap. You're just like, hey, I'll just put these down and maybe something will blunder into it.
Yeah.
Like, ambush feels like a crappy shit. What's that yellow necklace?
Disc of
like,
Exama.
Yeah, Disc of Examna. It costs 1 less, but like it's only for 1 location because enemy has to spawn there. Should have been like if an enemy moves in, or non-elite enemy moves into that space or spawns there. The lure should be like each non-elite enemy just moves once towards it or whatever, and then discard at the end of the round. Either that, or it just stays in play until an enemy gets there. Like they're just so pitiful for what they're like. It's a cool idea, and they're just not good enough to execute it.
You know, I'm with you. I just think a lot of the tricks in red, it's like, it just doesn't feel like you're actually tricking anything. Or even trapping anything. You're just like, me play card. Yay.
Yeah, bait and switch is kind of cool when it works.
Yeah, that is true. And also, we can't not talk about bait and switch and not talk about bag grandma. Number 4. Brandon, what's your number 4?
Oh, we got the Ace of Rods.
Yeah, man, this was on my list until I heard it was on yours.
Like, I don't even want this card to be better just because I want it to be like a playable card. I want it to be better so that Anna Kaslo is better. Like, worth having, you know? You get 3 tarot slots, but you can only have 2 tarot cards. 2 different tarot cards. Because this one sucks, and the other one's a weakness. Like, alright. But also, I think if this card were fast to play, it would be, like, pretty fair, right? Like, green gets a card that is 2 and fast, and you can take an extra action during any player's turn, which you can do a lot of cool stuff with. This only works during your turn.
Yeah. Ace of Rods.
So I think 3 for that is not an unfair price.
Ace of Rods sucks. I hate Ace of Rods. Even when you get it in play free at the start of your game, you're like, dang, I wish this was literally any other tarot except the red tarot.
Unless you're Calvin, in which case you're like, red tarot, sick.
Yeah. And even then, you're just like, all right, I got 1 additional action where I get +2 to my skills. Whoopee.
It's really good if you're on that circle one where you're lighting the braziers.
Yes,
And
that
they're
is
like,
true.
Test this skill and this skill, and you're like, +4, baby.
So of all the scenarios, if a card could get like a little star sticker for every scenario they were good, Ace of Rods,
Yeah,
you
would
did.
have
You
one.
got 1
Yeah.
out of, I don't know, freaking 8 times 6, so 42, not including side scenarios.
Yeah.
I agree though, 100%.
Yeah, he's trying.
Yeah.
He's trying.
My number 4 is handcuffs. Speaking of hoops you got to jump through. This one, I mean, like, this one was definitely flavor over function, right? Like, they don't want you handcuffing a Gug. But let me ask you this. Why can I not handcuff a Gug?
It's because their hands don't fit in the handcuffs.
Yeah.
I know, but it's just, I just wish this card wasn't so flavor over function. Like, it's flavorfully great. Like, it's a good card. But
It's got like some uses. You can handcuff that like the super cultist, and then he doesn't get Doom anymore.
Oh, yeah, no,
And
like, there's
you can't
definitely
draw him
just
again.
Play forever.
there's definitely moments, but like, I want
Just
to
chain him to the radiator and forget about him.
See you.
like, I want to be able to handcuff a Byakuya. They have spindly wrists. Why can't I handcuff like a Zoog around the neck to a radiator? Why can't I do that, right?
Yeah, this card also does get like the 1 star where there is a scenario where it's like pretty good, and that is at Death's Doorstep,
Yeah.
where you're not supposed to kill the Silver Twilight Lodge guys, but you can definitely chain them to the billiards table, like whatever, no
You
problem.
stay here.
Yeah, you stay here. A dog will be by to kill you shortly.
Can you handcuff the party guests in The Last King? Are they humanoids when they transform?
Maybe.
I'm gonna check. Travis, why don't you talk about yours?
I got exposed weakness here. There's 2 versions of it, and they're both trash, and they're just like they. There's a level 3 version too, and they just didn't make it better. I don't understand why it doesn't just make its fight value like 1 all the time. Or like why it doesn't last until the end of the phase instead of just like 1 time. But I don't know.
Yeah, the upgraded one is a little better, where like it decreases it for each point you succeed by, I think. But
This
still,
one does that.
that's not great.
Oh no, this one does it. Yeah,
yeah,
this
this
one's
is
for each point you
only-
succeed by. I don't know.
Oh,
I'll check
maybe.
and see what the level 3
Maybe.
one does. But like, they're both just
Yeah.
like. I've
just-
never been like, I want to add this card to my deck. Literally never.
Never. No, I agree. Never.
Yeah, like
Oh no, so this one's just like a hard book test, and if you succeed, you treat their fight values with 0 for the next attack performed against it.
Okay.
But also, it actually replaces itself, which is considerably better than this one, but still not good for 3 experience.
You can use it to tee up a sweet shotgun turn.
Like, this could be a cool card where, like, you make a book X test, or you make a book 0 test or something, and then, like, each point that you succeed by, you put a resource on the exposed weakness, and you attach it to the guy or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And then because you know where its weak spot is now. Not for the one time you're gonna shoot it. It's dumb.
So for reference, I looked up Ashley Clark. She is not a humanoid, even though in the picture she has bony arms, perfect for my handcuffs.
Oh no.
All right. Oh, maybe in the next expansion they'll just release a card called Handcuffs in brackets for Gugs. All right, number 3. Brand, what do you got?
I got the Venturer. Now, I know this guy does have like a very niche home. I just wish that he were a little better. Like he costs 4 money, he takes up your ally slot, he only soaks 2 and 2. Sure, you can get 3 more bullets or supplies on your other items, but you can only get 1 a turn. You can't even just move them all onto a thing because you're at the same location as a guy with an empty flashlight this turn. I just would like him to, I don't know, maybe cost a little less or soak a little more or something. Maybe not have to exhaust to move one of my supplies.
You know how there's that in your Akachi deck, Travis, there's the Mystic Ally, Experienced Ally, that just replaces a charge when you use it?
Yeah, Twilight or whatever.
There's no bullet one of that for Johnny Bullet Lips.
No,
that would probably be too good because most spells you can use multiple times in a turn, but some guns you can't, I guess. And it would be too good on those guns because it would just be infinite ammo.
Yeah. Also with spells, you do get limited uses trademark, because if you use them forever, eventually they will kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whereas with guns, if you
like
just
that.
shot your shotgun every turn, whatever.
Yeah, that is pretty good. Maybe only for
anyway.
he only works for small guns. I don't know. I could see that being a card though in the future. An elite venturer type.
Yeah, I just want him to be a little bit less clunky.
Yeah.
You know.
My number 3 is Guidance. I love helping out my 2 friends, Travis and Bryn, when we play this game. I like being like, Bryn, why don't you do something? Or Travis, what can I do for you? And this card is there's the closest to that thing that we can get where it's literally directly supporting another player, sacrificing your turn for them. But it never feels good to play. And I wish it did.
You'd probably feel better if it drew you a card.
That's exactly what it needs. It just needs to draw you a card, then everything's A-okay, right?
Yeah, because as it is, you're effectively sacrificing 2.
Yeah.
Give them 1.
Mm-hmm. And I love this. I feel like even though there's probably a lot of pressure to be we have to design stuff that can also play in solo or 2 players, but I want them to embrace some of the 3 or 4 player play groups, right? And I think that would just be sweet.
Yeah. Also, this card has conspiracy theorists art on it, and yeah, that guy's pretty cool.
Yeah. All right, Travis, what's your number 3?
I got Banish. This is a card that I really wish was closer to its incarnations in Elder Tour and Arkham Horror 2nd Edition, where it's just a she evasion card, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I guess you can send it to a different location, but I would have much rather seen this been make a brain test on a non-elite enemy, where you test your brain against their fight, and you're not allowed to commit cards to the test, and if you succeed, you just kill it.
Yeah, no, or dude, let's get freaking wild. it gains victory 0, and you just put in the victory display. Like, literally, let's banish this MFer.
Yeah, no, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I agree. It'd just be a little
Or
more
like make
spicy.
the brain test when an enemy dies, and if you succeed, then you give them victory 0.
Yeah, that's great, because it's not as
Or
strong
victory 1.
as,
That would actually be incredible.
yeah, it's not as strong as Bury Them Deep, right? So it's not like encroaching on that too much, and you still got to jump through the brain hoop, which is all Mystics need to be able to do whatever they want, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
No, this card could have been so much cooler.
Yeah. All right, let's get to number 2. Ren, you're number 2. Go for it.
Yeah. So I really like the idea of this game having like different guns that behave in different ways. However, the way this one behaves is garbage. Like, it doesn't do anything. You can't shoot enemies that are engaged with you, but what do you get for it? Nothing. Like, they give you nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like +2 damage is big, and they have been like tinkering with the XP cost to see if they can ever trick someone into playing it. But still, like, if you're taking weapons, you are the guy who's trying to fight stuff. And if you're trying to fight stuff, you're going to be engaged to it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I would have liked to see them change. Like, I understand that they try not to change the text of cards too much, because that gets like a little memory issue-y. But I would like to see this one, like, yeah, you can't use it to attack enemies engaged with you, but you can use it to attack enemies who are like a space over.
Yeah, like, because like
I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, your location is open field. Why can't I walk like 10 feet that way, then shoot this guy who's sitting down right here?
Yeah.
Of that note, we've started a new series on our channel where we do live deck building. People have requested a deck focused on making Springfield M1903 as bad as we can with an optical scope and all that. So that will be coming out in the near future. So get ready for that.
Man, that's tough.
Yeah.
That eats like so much of our initial experience.
Oh yeah. My number 2 is 5 of Pentacles. I get to watch my 2 good friends play really good tarot cards, and then I look at my binder and I'm just like, all right, never mind. It's just, like, apart from Calvin, this card just does like nothing. Like, if you get it in your opening hand, you'll play it, right? And you won't feel bad about it. But paying 3 for +1 health and +1 sanity, and then the 1 experience, I could just bought like fine clothes in my opening deck, right?
Yeah, you're basically paying 3 to heal 1 and 1.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what they could do differently with the Red Tarot if they wanted to focus specifically on stats, right?
Well, the red tarot card would be better even if it just was like had 1 health and 1 sanity and could take direct horror for you, direct damage for you.
Yeah.
Because then you could like at least play the second one.
Yeah.
And just be like, cool. So like it took the damage, it died. Here's some more.
Mm-hmm.
They could have had it be when you fail, you can exhaust it to get +1 to your skill value.
Yeah. I think that's very red. I think that's good.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it's like in the early days of design when red only got to 3 experience, right? And they've since changed that. But you're just gonna watch the other colors. Like, red's a strong color. Like, I'm not gonna say like red's weak, right? Like, red has strong stuff in it. And like, especially like in their skills. But like, some of the stuff you're just like, dang, I wish this was like literally anything else. Travis, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is Feed the Mind. This card is on here for similar reasons to Banish, where I wish it was similar to its previous incarnations. For those who don't know, in Eldritch Horror and Arkham 2nd Edition, Feed the Mind was used to make your skills better. At least in Eldritch. I don't remember exactly what it did in Arkham 2nd Edition now that I really think about it. But I'd like to see it do something different. Like, for this, it's just like another card draw spell, like whoop-de-doo.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need that. I would much rather seen it be like Lightning Bolt, use only during your turn. make a book X test where X is a skill, and if you succeed, then increase that skill by that much for this turn, or something like that. Or maybe you can do it for any investigate your location for the higher leveled one. I would much rather see it be some kind of skill boosting card as opposed to just another card draw thing that isn't even that good.
Definitely.
Yeah, but you can use this one to splorch yourself by accident.
Yeah, like, I do appreciate that this is... It's like a purple card disguised as a yellow card. But purple's not allowed to draw cards like this. Where it does have, like, the drawback on it, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you, Travis. I get it. It's just a bit
Just
dull.
a flavor disconnect with my experience with the game.
Yeah. All right, let's get to our number ones, which we got. Bryn, what's your number one?
Man, so this guy Henry won. Like, actually, what the fuck? Like, which one? Who designed this and was like, "Don't worry about it. It'll be fine.
It'll be good."
I don't know how to
play with this?
explain how bad this card is. Like,
can any of your designers do math?
Yeah, like the worst part about it is that he came out in the same cycle as Mr. Rook.
No, that's balanced, bud.
Yeah, right. And like,
exactly
so
the way things should be.
3 resources, and a card, and an action to put him into play, and he soaks 1 and 2, so like pretty much hot nothing. And then as an action, you can exhaust him, so you can't even do it more than once a turn, because like I don't even want to do this any times a turn. But like you reveal tokens from the bag until you reveal a symbol token that is not the blessed token. And if you choose, you can stop at any time. And if you choose to stop before revealing one of those tokens, then for each token you revealed, you get to either draw a card or gain 1 resource. And if you did both of those things, this card would still be bad. Like you're already on like an average token bag. Somebody on Arkham DB has done like much more precise math than this, but you're like only 60% to hit on the first one.
That's crazy. That's horrible.
Like, yeah, it is actually terrible. Like, why wouldn't I just take the basic game action where I don't have to gamble any sort of terrible odds to just get my 1 stupid card or resource? Like, this guy is so bad. If it were a lightning bolt, I still wouldn't want to play him.
Henry Wan has lit a fire in Bryn I have not felt.
Oh man, I am so upset about this card.
Well, if it means anything, the flavor's great because all aspiring actors are terrible.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
My number one is a card I've hated for a very long time. I hate Oops. And, like, its intention is pure, right? Like, I get what it's trying to do. Like, I understand that. But it just does it in such a way that just... Like, they've been trying to push this survivor archetype of engage every enemy. It's okay. Don't worry. It'll work out, right? But then you're like... Yo, it's not going to work out. I think this card, even if it was just after you fail a skill test while attacking an enemy engaged with you, deal it to a different enemy or location for 2. Because you're paying 2 resources and a card to just basically deal 1 or 2 damage to an enemy, right? Sometimes you deal more with a weapon, yes. But I have never, ever, and I don't foresee myself, like, ever using Oops successfully. Like, ever.
Yeah, I could see myself using Oops to like give myself 2 punch icons if I'm playing like, I don't know, some sort of combat red character who doesn't exist.
Yeah.
The upgrade version is like playable, I think.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's got a bigger window to be used.
You know what these cards like Oops Infighting almost made my list. Those kinds of cards remind me of. They're like cards from the items from Binding of Isaac that reward you for getting hit, like the virus.
Yep.
Where you're like, but I don't want to be getting hit though.
Yeah. Like if I'm attacking an enemy, I'm
if
here
that
to
happens,
hit them.
I'm losing.
And I also like, but you're like, but Justin, you love Lucky. First off, Lucky costs 1, and Lucky is like, it's works for every test. This is only when you fail by 2 or less and gets an enemy engaged with you while there is another enemy at your location.
Yeah.
I suppose it does work with swarm enemies. But still, it's just a lot of hoops. And if you watch these videos, you know by now, Justin hates hoops. I just want my skill number to be high, and I draw chit, and I'm like, how can I fail? I'm up 7. Yeah. Travis, what's your number 1?
My number 1 is Kiwi's. I think this card had a really cool concept behind it. And part of the reason it's on this list is because I'm a little bit mad about their decision to just make it exceptional. Which doesn't really solve any of the issues with it at all. So the idea behind this one, like story-wise, flavor-wise, Kiwi's Let the Storm Rage, you're supposed to like actively kind of seek out horror damage, and it stacks up, and you get more powerful because of it. But then eventually, it kind of boils over, and you get punished for it because there's too much power for you to contain. And it kind of does that good, except that like you can just put the damage somewhere else, so it never actually boils over. And then on the off chance it does, the downside is the kind of who cares. There's some situations where it's bad, but I think that the punishment should have been a lot harsher, and maybe have it be like, it has to go. Like anytime you would take horror, at least one of that has to be assigned to the Kiwis.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be much better. And then like if the force when it's defeated was like move the horror from it to you.
Yeah, remove all the horror, or put the horror from it onto you, or like maybe discard your hand and lose all your resources, or like something that mattered, man.
Yeah.
Right now the punishment is like, oh no, I'm 10 turns closer to losing 1 brain.
Which isn't, as we learned, isn't even direct.
Yeah, apparently. Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get it. I respect it. All right. Those are our 5 cards that we believe missed the mark, or just missed opportunities, or just not worth it for some reason or another. We'll see you guys next week for another list video. If you have any suggestions for list videos, please let us know in the comments below, because we have a big list and we always draw from it. And I mean, like, we have a lot, but one day we'll be like, do we just make our favorite investigators again? Which we probably could, because there'll probably be like 15 new investigators. But in the meantime, thanks for watching. Have a good one. And as always, GG's.